Hi everyone, my name's Sophia,
My name is Hank.
and welcome to You Know Me So Well. Today we are talking about building confidence. We're gonna share our own personal experiences and give sort of the tips and tricks we've learned over the years of working on confidence. So, personally, for me, I feel like I did not have an ounce of confidence in me until I was about 17 years old, getting close to 18 years old. I don't think I ever really thought very highly of myself in any way. I definitely didn't think I was attractive. I think I was constantly putting myself down for not being able to achieve as much as other people were because I would watch a lot of college, like how I got into this and this college videos, and these people would always do like 100 million things, and I felt like I was just not matching that, and so that made me feel not so great either. And I did pretty well in school and all that, and yet I don't know, I just don't think I had very much academic confidence either. It was sort of just like a given for me that I could perform well in school. And so, yeah, I would say confidence was just non existent for me until I was around 17 years old. And that is sort of when I started this confidence journey. It started off very slow. And I would say that this confidence journey was mainly, I don't know if it, okay, I'm going to say it was mainly like a physical confidence journey, like confidence in my body and the way that I look and the way that I feel about myself. But I think that expanded to just general confidence as well going forward. But yeah, so the journey started off in, I don't know, January. And I would say that I mean, I feel like it continues to this day. I feel like there's always a test of confidence every single day. And it's something that you constantly have to be working towards and maintaining. But I would say this confidence journey that I'm talking about was something that went on for about a year and a half. And in that time, I just grew exponentially. And a lot of different things happened in my life. To start off with, I got into college, I got into a good school. I think that definitely solidified my confidence in my academic ability, and it made me feel good about myself that I had achieved this. And I also didn't have to worry about school so much anymore. It was okay, I got into college now, I can kind of take that stress off of my shoulders. For the whole physical part of it, it was definitely a longer journey, but I feel like what essentially was happening was that I was growing into a more mature form of myself. So I would say that I was maybe a little bit more of a late bloomer in terms of looks. I definitely never thought that I was attractive in any way throughout high school, but I think once I got to 17, I started to sort of mature into my looks a little bit more, and I started to look more like I want to say normal person. But I look back on the pictures of me in high school and I feel bad because it's not like I wasn't attractive in any way. I think I was just I felt unattractive because of how people treated me and sort of how I didn't really have any confidence in myself. So that was kind of my journey to confidence, and to this day it's a work in progress. I feel like recently I went through another sort of confidence. I was really high in confidence for a while, and then I had sort of a confidence dip, and since then I've been sort of working on leveling up, and I've come back to the level. I don't know. I'm sort of somewhere up there, but it's not I could definitely have a lot more confidence. And I think the thing with confidence is when you have it, it allows you to do so much more with your life. It's so easy to hold yourself back, to doubt yourself, to say, "Oh, well, I'm not pretty enough, so maybe, if I were to approach a guy, he would reject me right away, or I'm not smart enough, so if I were to try and apply to this school, I definitely wouldn't get in. I just don't have the ability to get into that kind of school." It's very easy to doubt yourself, but if you have that confidence to help you through it, you are so much more likely to succeed and to try new things and to move forward. And I feel like it really does give you like a big leg up. So I would say we probably aren't the most confident people. You know, we're not like the spokespeople for confidence, but we're normal people, and that's kind of the perspective that we're offering. Hank, do you want to share a little bit about your thing?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually very similar to Sophia's like time. I really had no confidence in myself until like I was about 17. I think a big part of that came from I just started making a lot of lifestyle changes then, with just like working out and doing things like that. It just naturally gave me more confidence and kind of seeing the way that I kind of felt like people viewed me differently after that started to happen. And I mean, it was like that for a long time. It kind of got to a point though where I just had simply way too much confidence in myself, like kind of like a reckless confidence and like feeling like I could do no wrong and like just being way too high on myself, and that's definitely a bad level. But I think in general, to this day, it still kind of comes and goes. Like Sophia said, I am, and I think we both are far from the most confident people. But I say easily the thing that gives me the most benefit or like does the most for me is just like being healthier, like working out, having a good sleep schedule, just like simple things is kind of what gives me more confidence. Even if those things don't directly relate to necessarily the way I look or anything like that or any other thing you're having confidence about. I think it just helps you feel better about yourself and have more confidence like that. I know for me, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like when you have sort of a routine for yourself, something that you've curated based off of what you like, your personality, like you as a person, it definitely makes you feel like you're in control of your life. And I think that really helps because it's very, and I know this is like a totally different topic, so now we're going a little off topic, but it's like, it's very easy to kind of get caught up in that whole like, I need to impress other people. I need to do stuff for other people because they want me to do it. And like, I want them to like me. And I feel like if I do something, like, they'll think I'm cool or they'll like me, whatever it is. But like, at the end of the day, you have to do stuff for yourself because you're not going to be able to work on yourself in any way if you're not focusing on yourself. And so if you can kind of curate a life for yourself, that really helps, and then being able to work on yourself and, the whole thing, build confidence, build a life that you're proud of, etc. So, talking more about the physical confidence that I grew over time, like I said, it was a slow journey at first. I think like the first, I want to say like first. So the other thing is like when this was happening, we went into the COVID pandemic, and that of course like changed everything for everyone. And so, maybe like if that hadn't happened, things would have been very different. Maybe I would have developed some confidence faster. Maybe I would have, you know, led my life in a way that made me more proud of it and just like generally happier and stuff like that. But yeah, so I would say like maybe the first like 8 months of my confidence journey was sort of a slow start to it, but it was the first time I feel like that I recognized that I had sort of like potential. I think for like the first time I looked in the mirror during that time period and was like, yeah, like I'm pretty, like I'm an attractive human being. And like I think I've developed so much from that point. So like if you would take a picture from back then and take a picture from now, you might say like, okay, like you look 100 times better or whatever. But the point is that was coming from someone who had absolutely no confidence in the way that she looked. And so it was definitely groundbreaking to feel something positive about myself. I think, and then I started college, and when I started college, it was all remote. And so I was at home, and that was definitely like difficult because my college was on the other side of the country. Like, all I wanted to do was be in college, have this exciting life, just like be my own person. And I was being held back from doing that. But I think the biggest thing for me was that helped like build that physical confidence in myself. And sort of once I started college, it really like accelerated. Was every day I did this like during the pandemic as well, but I wasn't super serious about it. But then, like, when I started school, I was like, in order to keep myself sane, I'm going to do this small thing. And with that, it really helped like build my confidence in myself. So I would wake up each morning, I'd have my little routine, whatever. I would make it a point to get ready every single day, put on some makeup. I actually have the same makeup routine. I don't think it's ever changed, but I would do my makeup. It's a simple makeup routine, but it would make me feel so much better about myself. And then I would put on a cute outfit as if I were going out and going out for like school or to meet someone, even if I was just sitting at home.
Wait, I want to say something about that real quick. I think a very important thing is find any excuse to just like wear something that makes you feel good or dress up in any sort of way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, it really helps.
Like even if you're just going to the grocery store, no harm in wearing something that makes you feel good about yourself, makes you feel like you look nice.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, anyways, I would put together an outfit and then once I'd put my outfit on and my makeup was done and whatever, I would stand in the mirror for maybe a couple of minutes and just for a couple of mirrors.
Couple mirrors.
Um, for a couple of minutes and just look at myself. And in that moment, that's when I felt my best. You know, my makeup was nicely done. I just put on the outfit, like my hair was done, etc. And that was sort of like my peak moment of the day in terms of like how I looked, I would say. And so, yeah, I would look in the mirror for a couple minutes and just sort of take in what I saw and appreciate the way that I looked because I felt good about myself. And I'd also maybe like snap people. I would do like I don't want to call them streaks, but my snap streaks, I guess. You know? And I would just like I would feel good and it would only be a couple minutes from my day. You know, it wouldn't really take away from anything else, but it was just a good start to the day. And I think just doing that every single day for an extended period of time just really helped accelerate that confidence journey. And so like by the time, so like this went on for I would say maybe 3 months, like 3 months, I would say. And after those 3 months, I finally got to move away from home. And by then, I felt really good about myself. I found myself attractive, you know, like I could look at myself in the mirror. I mean, I wouldn't do it a lot, but I could definitely like look at myself in the mirror and feel good. And so once I moved away from home, I didn't necessarily continue that exact routine, but I definitely like made it a point to do my makeup every morning and just like get dressed instead of like filing out of bed and, you know, just like getting on my computer and doing school, like giving myself some time in the morning, I think. I can't remember, but I believe I did that because I do it to this day. And yeah, just like it really helped. And then also in that at that point, once I moved away from home, I started to get attention from other people. So that's the thing. Like when I was in high school and even through like the beginning of my confidence journey, I didn't really have people like compliment me in any way. I got some attention from guys towards the very end of high school, but like I hadn't gotten it throughout high school, so it was very new and foreign and it didn't really register in my head like what it meant. And I also never got compliments from girls. The only time I would get compliments from girls, like even my friends, was when I would compliment them. So I'd be like, "Oh my god, you look so pretty." And they'd be like, "Oh, thank you so much. Like you're so pretty too, you know?" And it was like, "Okay, so do you like mean it or is it just because like I said it, you know, you're saying it back?" I just never felt like it was like a genuine like I really do think you're pretty, like, you know, compliment. But maybe that was just me. But yeah, when I moved away from home, I started to A, get attention from guys, and B, have like girls compliment me too. I don't think it was like a like a thing that happened all the time, but I know for a fact that like, I like lived with a bunch of housemates and stuff like that. We got pretty close. We'd talk about stuff and like it definitely came up, and that was sort of like when I started to oh, the other thing is a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but like for example, like so I moved to Hawaii, you know, nice sunny Hawaii. And when I moved there, like I would FaceTime my sister and my sister would be like, "Oh my God, Sophia, you are glowing. Like you look so good." And my sister like can tell me I'm the ugliest person ever. Like she will do it if she believes it. So the fact that like she's not like a nice sister where she's like, "No, you look good all the time." Like, no, that was like a true compliment. And I got it from a couple of other people too. Like, I'd FaceTime friends who were either back home or like college friends who weren't with me. And I felt like they would always remark that I just was like glowing and I looked really good and all that. And that really helped like move that along. So after I moved away from Hawaii and I moved to LA, that was when I finally was hitting this point. I think I was hitting sort of like peak confidence. And I would say there was definitely like a little bit of not false confidence, but confidence that was coming from I would say not recommended place. And that was like male validation. Male validation is fun and all, but it's not going to sustain you. It's a temporary thing that comes, and like when you, for example, get into a relationship, like you no longer are getting constant validation from other guys. You're getting it from one guy, and one guy can't do what 30 guys can do. So at that point you're forced to kind of figure out again, how do I find confidence in myself? Like honestly, I'm going to be honest, like I don't think any of Hank's compliments at this point really do anything for me, like I expect them, but like they're, it's not like he says something and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm the prettiest girl on this planet Earth. Like, no. So that has forced me to kind of go on that confidence journey again and find total confidence in myself. But yeah, I would say like I hit peak confidence like about a little over a year after I had started sort of that confidence journey. And at that point, like I could very easily openly remark that I was attractive. Like I could tell a friend, yeah, I know like I'm an attractive person. And I could look in the mirror and I could easily like feel good about myself without even really questioning it. So yeah, that's sort of what really helped me build confidence. And I feel like with that came like confidence in other sectors too. I feel like when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, that goes into other realms as well. In terms of like confidence in achievements and other aspects of my life, I think that I have continued to accomplish things that maybe in the moment don't like really hit, but like for example, I want to say this was like a month or two ago. I was sort of like sitting here in my apartment and I all of a sudden just like hit this realization. I was like, wow, I'm really proud of all of my accomplishments and the fact that I've been able to do it all on my own. I've gotten these internships, I've been able to live in different places, like I've been able to work for some really great companies, like I've been doing well in school, even if maybe like other things were affecting me, like I've been able to continue to succeed. And maybe there are other people out there who are seemingly doing better than me, but like for me, this is really great. And I'm really proud of myself. And so, yeah, I think just like doing things that make you feel proud, it doesn't have to be what other people might tell you need to do in life, but like anything that makes you feel proud, that really helps build like self confidence as well. Because who doesn't want to feel like they're succeeding in something or achieving something that they've always wanted to achieve? I think it's always so surreal when you achieve the things that you've maybe dreamed of for a while or for a long time, because that just like it makes you realize like, wow, I've come so far. And I feel like that really builds more confidence in yourself. I have to say, we did a episode on validation where we talked about external and internal validation. So I think this goes hand in hand with that episode. But yeah, I feel like like we said in that episode, external validation is great. It does really help you move along. It is very impactful, but it's also so important to have internal validation to help you move along because at the end of the day, you only have yourself.
Like I said a little bit earlier, I think the majority of my confidence started to come when I started like working out as my senior year of high school. Like it just really, I was always very insecure about my body, and I think it just really started changing the way that I felt about that. And I think my insecurities about my physical appearance is a big part of what was bringing me down confidence wise in general. And I think that kind of started to solve a major thing, at least in my eyes. But then, at the end of the day, it kind of became my only source of confidence, which was obviously not the best thing because it shouldn't be tied to all one thing. And I'd take any little setback or any little failure as like it just kind of like completely destroyed my confidence. So as much as it was good for that to be a source of confidence for me, it was just not good at all for me to put all of my self-worth into that one thing. And that's something I still struggle with sometimes, but it's definitely gotten better. I've started to be able to put, kind of like Sophia was talking about, be more and more proud of myself for how far I've come in just other stages of life and how far I've come as like a person and just in like the other different hobbies that I do and how I'm developing as a person and just in life. And just finding little things to be proud of yourself throughout the day. There's never an issue with being proud of yourself for even the smallest thing. If you're having a hard time in life, there's nothing wrong with applauding yourself for doing the simplest stuff. You can't ever expect anyone else to give you your confidence or build you up themselves. You have to learn to do it yourselves and or yourself. And even if it's even if it's something small, there's always something to be proud of.
I think we might have talked about this in the validation episode, but I'll reiterate it because I think it's important. Another thing I did when I was going through that confidence journey, like after I'd started college, but I was still at home. So for those like 3 months, where my confidence really accelerated, was I wrote down a list of affirmations for myself. So something like, I'm beautiful, I'm successful, I am proud of myself, like that kind of stuff, with some physical attributes and some more internal, like different, I made like a mixed list for myself. And then I recorded it on voice memos. And I recorded it once, just me speaking the, or I think what I did was like, I would say one and then I would repeat it again and I'd be like, okay, repeat after me. So that when I would do this like while I was laying in bed. First thing I did in the morning, wake up, grab my phone, play this little audio clip. And I would repeat after myself with, the phrase out loud. So I was like kind of speaking it into existence if you believe in like manifestation and stuff like that. And yeah, I did that for I think like the whole entire period. So that was, maybe 2, 3 months of speaking out affirmations to myself. And I know a lot of people will do affirmations into the mirror, which I think is also really great. Affirmations are just really helpful because you're sort of telling yourself this stuff about yourself and it helps sort of ingrain it into your brain. So when you're like walking around, I actually think I should do this more, come to think of it. But
Should.
yeah, I think I'm gonna do it again. But like when you're walking around in life, like you have this sitting in your mind. So like if you're in a situation where you're maybe doubting yourself, you're like, no, I have told myself that I am beautiful or I am successful, I am capable. And that really helps like get through that mental block that you might be having. So yeah, I had to throw that in there. Hank, do you want to talk a little bit about like overconfidence?
Yeah, there's definitely comes a fine line. I talked about it a very tiny bit early in the episode about how I've definitely had times in my life where I get very, very overconfident. And like if like don't get me wrong, it feels great. Like all of a sudden you just don't have these insecurities and nothing is wrong with you and you're just like this great person. But I think it absolutely it gets bad to an extent when I can't speak for everyone who's ever had like overconfidence issues or just super confident. But I know for me, I would start to engage in like kind of like reckless behavior because I was like, oh, like nothing could ever happen to me. Like I'm different than these people. Like nothing's wrong with me. Like that was them. Like that same thing wouldn't happen to me. And I think it kind of affected the way I treated people too. Like I wasn't like the nicest person or like humble at all or just like I think I don't know if I was actively putting people down, but I was just definitely not as good of a person as I'd like to be or should have been at the time. So I think if you start to kind of notice those qualities in yourself, you might kind of need to take a step back and think, okay, like what am I doing right now? Like what am I doing wrong? How do I kind of dial it back a little bit? Like not that you should ever like want to go back to having a bunch of insecurities or anything, but you also just need to make sure you're looking at yourself in life from like a realistic standpoint and not getting reckless or out of go too far from who you are as a person. Like I look back to those times where I was super overconfident. I'm like, I don't even like really recognize like myself to an extent. You know, just if that's happening to you, you just need to learn to dial it back. Just kind of remind yourself who you actually are and not stray too far away from who you are.
Yeah, I think it's important. Confidence is so important, but there's definitely a limit to it. You should be confident but humble, you know. It's like people will recognize your confidence if you have it. There's no need to overdo it in any way or to try and like prove it either. So, yeah, I think that is it from us. We definitely can probably take the advice that we've shared in here for ourselves. But I think, like I said, it's always a work in progress. So, it's okay if you don't have it all figured out or you don't feel 100% confident or even close to that. Just continue working on yourself and doing things that help you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
They
See. Oh,
oh
thanks for watching.
thank you.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.